Hey everybody, Dirty Dan here. I've got a lot in store for you guys. The last time you saw me was like 3 months ago in December for the Christmas series. That was incredibly well received. It was so much fun. I really loved that. That was a really great time. But anyways, here we are, 2025. It's a new year, and I've got some cool stuff to show you guys. So earlier in January, I of course went to the Amherst show. I was invited by Chris, and Alex was there with me. He also stayed with us. It kind of started off as almost a joke. It's just like, you should just drive up. And so that's what happened. I drove up in my black Iron Duke truck, and I'll tell you, I won't be doing that again anytime soon. That was pretty miserable. Definitely not in that truck. I would love to go to the show again, but not in that truck. That was a little cold. I want to extend a huge thank you to Chris for letting me stay with him and for all the hospitality, as well as Alex. I enjoyed every minute of it while I was up there. It was amazing. Chris, he showed me around, like the local area, and I got to see so much cool stuff. And on the drive, I actually got to see some pretty neat stuff. It was a little bit of a fun drive. The show was 4 buildings. Like, the shows around here in the Pittsburgh area, the size of one of those, but 4 of them. I mean, it was gigantic. There was so much stuff. It was ridiculous. And it was like every time you made a loop around this show, you'd see something new, either if the dealer put something new on the table or it was just something you hadn't picked up on before. There was just so much stuff. It was amazing. I mean, I saw everything there you could possibly imagine. There was some really cool people up there as well. I got to meet Arlo. There was a few other gentlemen. He had an actual setup at the show. It was a 2-rail O-gauge setup. I mean, this was pretty special. He's a very talented guy. This stuff was all scratch built. I mean, it was really something. I've never seen anything like it. We kind of hung around that area. That was sort of our like home base, We would stop there and then make our way around the show, do a loop, come back, do a loop, come back. If we wanted to go pick up a certain piece, we would go find that and come back. And it was a lot of fun just being at the show. We were there both days. It's a 2-day show, and we really did make the most of it. I mean, we spent a lot of time there, and I'm glad we did, because I found some really cool stuff. I also got to meet Rodney Kantorski.
Well, fucking fire truck coming! Right here!
He was at the show. I really didn't say a whole lot to him, but it was funny enough. We saw him going into the show. I looked over and I'm like,
a fucking fire truck!
Is that who I think it is? And he's just walking into the show, and then we get into the show, and later on we're like talking about him, and I swear I turn around and the dude's standing like 20 feet from us. It was like he just summoned, like just appeared out of nowhere. So we had to get a picture with him, and of course, in amazing fashion, I got half cropped out of the picture, but it is what it is. So it's still funny. I thought it was really fun to meet him. There was also a couple other things that I picked up earlier this year, which I want to include in this video. There was a donation made to the channel, and I want to cover that first. There's a couple locomotives. One of them is pretty special. And the second thing is, later on, I think this was in March, I had a local find that was pretty spectacular. It was some piece that I've actually never seen for sale before. There's actually a couple wish list things that I covered in this video, and that is one of them. I'm gonna save that for the last, because that's a pretty special little story. It's cool. Before we start off, want to extend one last thank you to Chris for letting me stay on. He's responsible for this whole thing, for allowing me to make it, and I really appreciate it. That was incredibly kind of you to allow me to stay with you and everything that you provide. I mean, it was just such an amazing experience. I had so much fun. But without further ado, let's dive right in and see what we got.
All right, starting off strong, let's take a look at this donation I received. Now, the gentleman that sent these to me included a letter. Let's take a read. Daniel, thought you could use this loco based on your videos. It was in terrible shape when I received it, but after many hours got it to run. I included a bonus loco that has a very strong motor. Good luck with your videos. Best regards, Bill Nathan. First off, thank you, Bill. It was very kind of you to send these to me. And second off, it looks like we've got a lifelike G5 as well as an Athearn Hustler. Now the G5 looks like it's had better days, but still, it is a lifelike G5. I've covered both versions of these in previous videos, and these can be quite challenging to locate. As you can see in this clip here, he wasn't lying either. He did get it to run, and quite well, mind you. Now, considering the condition of this particular example, I'm not 100% sure exactly what the future holds for this one. Now, let's take a look at this Athearn Hustler. Now, there really isn't a whole lot to say about this one, except for the fact that it's been repainted in the past, but it does seem to have been done quite well. As you folks know by now, this is a band drive, so I'll have to get this running at a later date. Thanks again, Bill, for this super generous donation.
Okay, so I decided to have a little bit of a quick subsection for this set right here, as, to be completely honest, this is something that I'm a little bit more interested in selling. At the time I picked it up, I really picked it up because it was a great deal. I think I paid about 30 bucks for this. Now, when I got it home, I realized this just isn't something I have this kind of space for. As you can see, it's in its original box. This is a Varney set, and it's a Florida East Coast set. It has the A, B with the power pack and the matching caboose and all these cars. And if you happen to be a Varney person, you know, this could be a great set. This is something that I don't plan on holding on to, so I figured I'd make a little bit of a separate section for this. So if you're interested in it, let me know.
Now this Florida East Coast F unit was included separately from that set. As you could probably tell, it's also a Varney piece. Here we've got two Tyco GP20s. Now I picked both of these up from two separate booths, but I figured it'd be easier to put them both together. Now there wasn't anything particularly special about the Rio Grande version, but the UP engine has a unique detail. Now some of you may have already picked up on this, but the numbers on the side of the UP version are very bolded. This is something strange that Tyco did for no apparent reason. Here's some of the Lionel HO that I picked up while I was there. One of these pieces is this Northern Pacific band drive Jeep. Alongside this was a caboose, an explosive boxcar, and a gondola. Now, amongst all the Lionel HO I got at the show, there was also these three cars. Of course, we've got the Lionel Circus car with the giraffe inside of it. We've also got the Wells Fargo cop and robber boxcar. And last but not least, the Minuteman missile launching boxcar. Now, as you can see here, I've already gone ahead and removed the mechanism. I've spent a little bit of time here and there on it, but I still can't get it to work quite right. You can definitely expect to see this in a future video. Here we've got an AC Gilbert or American Flyer barrel loader. This is definitely a bit of an oddball piece, but the price was right. I'd really like to give this thing its own dedicated video in the future, as it's very interesting and I'd like to see if I can get it working properly. Here we've got another strange one. Obviously this is a Tyco brown box that's been spray painted gray. Inside of this box is a Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania boxcar. I believe this is something that was made specifically by the museum, and not by Tyco themselves. I'll have to do some more in-depth research in the future, but it appears as though this is not the only one of these that's out there. Here we have two very early boxed Athearn cranes. I had never actually seen one of these prior to finding these at the show. They're completely made out of metal. I'm hopeful that there's enough pieces to put together one very nice example of this crane, as it's quite a nice model in my opinion. We also have this undecorated lifelike diesel. I was aware that they made these, but I don't believe they made very many of them. Kicking off the Mantua section of this video, we've got a New York State boxcar. Next, we've got this incredibly obscure Western model boxcar. I cannot find any records or any mentions of this boxcar anywhere. We also have this small Republic steel diesel switcher. This exact style of Mantua diesel has become very collectible in modern day. Next, we've got these two McKeesport connecting railroad boxcars, which yet again, little to no information exists on these. This one actually strikes pretty close to home. Here's an Iron City beer car manufactured by Mantua. I can't find any pictures of this one either. This one here is actually a little bit more well known. This is the reversed colors hooker tank car. These were produced in extremely limited numbers, and there's only a few known to exist. Interestingly, this actually has hooker tank written by hand on the end of the box. The two pieces you're looking at on screen right now are quite possibly some of the most interesting pieces that have come into my collection for a long time. What would appear to be two completely stock standard Tyco items are pieces here that should have never left the factory. These two pieces are actually quality control samples from 1975. Included in each box is a small card that reads QC Master Sample, indicating that these were quality control samples. Never in my years of collecting have I ever seen something from Tyco like this. What an incredible find. Honorable mention, the Tyco dealer display layout. This is probably the last place I would have expected to find one of these, but yet, here it is. Now, if it weren't for the fact that this was multiple states away, or the fact that the guy wanted $2,500 for it, believe me, I would have taken it home, but there was just no way it was going to happen. Now, of course, I had to save the best for last, and I'm sure some of you already know what's coming here. This is none other than the clear Tyco F unit. Unfortunately, for some ungodly reason, someone decided to cannibalize this one. But the locomotive shell is there, and that's the most important part. Now, if you thought that was impressive, wait till I show you this. I'm still struggling to accept the reality that is two clear F units in one show. I can't even begin to tell you how lucky I am to have been able to get these. I will admit though, these were not cheap. I still can't stop marveling over the fact of how cool these are. Just look at it, it's clear. These locomotives almost have a sort of majestic feel to them, like we weren't supposed to get our hands on them. And that's what I think makes them so special. Now, as far as Amherst goes, that's everything. But I do have one more really special find that I want to show you guys. Now, a week or two after the show, I was on Facebook Marketplace one morning, browsing like I usually do, when out of absolutely nowhere, a Tyco Cotton Belt F9A pops up. I can't even begin to describe the odds of this happening, let alone the fact that it was 45 minutes away from me. The very first thing I did was message the seller and let him know I was local and I was going to come pick it up that day. And a few hours later, it was comfortably sitting in my passenger seat. Apart from the fact that these are stupid hard to find, this thing really is a gorgeous model. This paint scheme looks terrific. It's a real shame that these saw such a limited run. This really is a sharp locomotive. And that's about it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And once again, a special thanks to Chris for making this whole thing happen, as well as everybody else that I got to meet while I was up there. You guys are all awesome people. And a final thanks goes to those of you watching this video. Oh, and one last thing before I go. If you ever get the opportunity to take a trip like this, or explore, or adventure, or anything in general, make sure you take it. You won't regret it.